Good evening. It's Monday. I nearly said Sunday night. It's Monday night. And we're here for mental mind treatments. I welcome you being here, coming, joining me. And I'll stop clicking my pen. As usual, I like to begin by looking at one of the insight cards from the guide box. And this is what came up. My finger is covering it. But it's actually the writing is a little hard to read. I have not seen this one before. My creativity gushes forth like a bubbling geyser or geyser, depends on where you come from, within me. This creativity and the force of life that we have, it does gush forth at times. I know as a writer, it would be all of a sudden there would be what I wanted and how to write it. If I had the beginning, I could write. But if I didn't have the beginning, it was like I was facing a wall all the time. The second side is easier, and you may be able to read this easier. Create value for yourself. If you don't think you're valuable, well, others are not going to think you're valuable. The constant dealing with what people perceive and what they think and how they feel, not only about themselves, but others, is a consistent battle sometimes. Sometimes with the people that I work with, it is, what can I say, just a battle of relating to their basic self, creating all these problems that we have inside and how they work and how they do. And that's why mental mind treatments is here, is because I do mental mind treatments for people all the time in my practice, you might say. And so today we can begin. I'm going to begin, first of all, with my friend Kayla, who actually did phone me earlier. And so don't think she's going to be listening, so she's going to catch it later. And I am doing a mental mind treatment for her. Our numbers I picked for the topic was 20, 13, and 4. 20 is that wonderful acceptance of the force or grace of God, actually. And 13 is the transition, the time period it takes very often for things to come into play and to work and to be. And then 4 is where we sometimes get stubborn about things and we balk a little bit. So what in here within this whole confines here is what we're dealing with is to having some infections leave the physical body is to accept the journey. The journey may not be a night or a day or a week even. There may be a little longer journey than one would like, but if we accept that and flow with that, it will make it quicker and easier. So let me move into treatment for Kayla. I know there is one power and one essence, and I know that Kayla is connected to the force of love and light. Therefore, in that connection, as she breathes that power in, any and all infections that within the physical body will leave. They will just dissipate because the power of love, the power of light will transform any and all things that are there. I give thanks in the knowingness that Kayla has the strength, the perception, the awareness to accept the light into the body, to accept the knowingness that there will be results that she desires and wants. And I just feel it's a matter of letting go and flowing so that the physical body flows in that power and in that awareness, and everything comes into ease and grace. And I give thanks for this by knowing that it is done and that it is excellent in relation to all infections leaving the physical body, wherever they may be. Okay, thank you. I see some people have written in. Marion says, good evening, Norma, and blessings to all. And remember, she works on the bowl, making it sing. So that helps keep me, gives my energy, because we're linked with that. And I appreciate that. Karen Lee, hello, dear. Hi, Norma. Would love a treatment for my mom, Margaret. So she's still hanging on. 3, 7, 11. Thank you. It's interesting. A nephew of mine, who's not that much younger than me, who's been ill for some time in New Zealand, made his transition yesterday. And it's always a little sad when you hear people that they've made their transition, but for him, it's the last couple of years have been tough going. And so it's nice to know that he's made his transition, family there, everything is moving smoothly. And I add my prayer, my essence, my love for him. And as he travels forward into the newness of the next awareness, the next step that we do. So now as we look at Margaret and the 3 numbers that Karen Lee has given me, and they say 3, 7, and 11. 3 is a love source. And I talk about this love source, but it's, to me, it is very real and it exists. And I'm just going to rub my nose, sorry. And it exists and it has life and it is there. And it's about accepting that love force, accepting that there is a energy, a force, whatever you call it. People call it by many, many names, that loves you beyond measure. And that when we're in our time of transition, is there for us to help us move into, well, you might say help us leaving the body, the physical world, into the non-body world, into being the essence of who we are, and then growing from there. And so this love essence is there to assist in letting go. And that means the commitment to letting go to be able to move into the new. So let me just do a treatment for Margaret, again, in assisting the letting go part so that you can move into the transitional part. I know there is one power in the one essence, and I also know that the power is there for Margaret. I know that Margaret more and more, and is like kind of eating a nice donut, is that she's beginning to take bites of the love force and then withdraws. And she takes another bite and withdraws. It's there. It's so close. It's like just allowing it to come in and accepting it within the physical body in the here and now. Such love, such light brings tears to my eyes, because there is this whole willingness to let go the past, to let go what has been, and to look forward now to the future, to look forward to the transition and what comes beyond after that. And that is the acceptance of the journey, the recognition that there is a journey and that she is willing to accept that. I give thanks in the knowing, because the time of Margaret's transition is getting closer and closer and closer. And I feel that what's going to happen, she's going to all of a sudden go for it, and everybody's going to be standing and say, what, has it happened? And then have reactions a little later. But we know that Margaret is getting close to making that transition, is ready to accept more and more the lovingness that is there, the lovingness that comes forth. I give thanks in the knowing of this, and I feel great excitement and love for Margaret in this journey that she's doing as she begins more and more to embrace love and embrace the power that is there to assist her in transitioning into this next level. I give thanks as I release this thought, knowing that it is done, that it's just, it's hard to explain, but it's like I smile, because it's like, this has been such a long journey to get to this point, and now this letting go, just everything is in its right place. Everything just fits. So all is absolutely well. And I release this by saying, with love, peace, and beingness, and so it is. Amen. Okay, Karen. A Monday night would not be complete without Karen Lee and Karen being in this. So Karen says, hello, Norma. I would appreciate a treatment for being connected to the softer side of inner love. 22, 1, 2. Oh, I've never heard of that. That put that way, I rather like that. Softer side. In other words, you let go all your judgments of yourself. That's what it says. And in the work I do, not this just here, is that we run into internal judgment. We're not good enough. I don't do it right. And now that I'm doing work going down into the subconscious, and then remember, I can get there because we have people I work with. I've already done a lot of work with clearing them and getting their systems aligned and balanced. I'm just rearranging my arm cushion here. And this is what it is like. It's like letting go the judgments, letting go the self beat, whatever you want to call that. So what we're doing, what we're looking here in the numbers, the 22 is having faith in yourself, knowing that all things are possible, and deciding you deserve whatever it is you're choosing and wanting to have in relation for you. You are an essence of yourself. And that takes, what I see here with this 22 is having this faith, because it's possible for you to decide, I'm okay. I just did a session for somebody this morning from deep in the subconscious, and letting go the self beat, letting go the belief and understanding of the self. It is so amazing how deep it is and how ingrained it is, how for lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, we beat ourselves up because we're never good enough. And even when we do all this different work, that thought, that little is still in there. It's wonderful to clear it. So, okay, Karen, we know that you're going to need to take some responsibility for keeping your mind on supporting yourself and not falling into judgment. But let's see how we go here. So I take a deep breath and move into the power of love. I know as I speak my word for Karen that there is faith in love. There is faith in moving forward. And as the fool steps off the cliff, because the knowingness is there, it is the letting go of the judgment of not doing it right, not being good enough, not having whatever goes on in the mind to bring you back into making you small, making the self smaller. I know that everything is possible for you, and you know that. And it is that a knowingness that as you move forward, you can decide once and for all that to let go judgment, self-judgment in particular, to let go of anything that holds you and has you be small, has you excuse. It's like an excuse almost. It's like I'm hiding behind my excuses. It's like a letting them all go and allowing that love force that loves you with beyond measure, that is gentle and caring and knowing and wanting for you to shine, is brought in through your breath. It is brought in because you decide that you are worthy and that you know that you can have everything that you want and exactly as you want if you let go of feeling inferior, not good enough, that someone else is going to do it better, whatever those hundreds of thoughts that can be, we're going to let them go. You, my dear, are not inferior in any way, shape, or form. Therefore, only faith in where you're heading, where you're going, where you're stepping will be in the front of you. Life is for you love. So how does love look? How does love look? Love can be judgmental from others, but not from yourself. Never from yourself. You allow that to go. You allow that to dissipate. You allow that. And anyone else that's listening to this, because I know people listen for those words that relate to them. If you are critical of yourself, stop it. now, because love, which is there, loves you beyond measure. It is not critical. Love is not critical. Loves just loves you. Oh, so you want to do this? Go ahead. It's probably the most supportive thing that you have in any way, shape, or form. So let me just do a treatment on this for Karen. I know they're one power, one essence that isn't for all people. And so therefore I speak my word for Karen, knowing that by letting go of the judgments, that the strength of the possibilities of what she can create in her life is like a plant that is planted, a seed that is planted and sprouts very quickly into a beautiful plant. Yes, decisions need to be made. Yes, with the watching of where the thought patterning goes and takes us. For Karen, it is really important to catch those little thoughts that come in there that are saying, I am not sufficient. I am not good enough. Someone else is better than me. That is all incorrect. Everybody is walking their path. And you, my dear, are walking your path with love, with understanding, and awareness. So I give thanks in knowing that the loving force is strengthening inside of you with every breath that you take, that you become aware by loving, supporting, and appreciating yourself, that reflects out into the world, and all is well. I give thanks in the knowing of this. I give thanks that Karen can move forward knowing her worth, her beauty, the essence of her, and the love. I find myself smiling because the love just beams. So the softer side of love is there with just being you. I give thanks in the knowing this as I release this by saying, and so it is. Oh, Karen, that is superb. And I hope others listen to that and realize it applies to each one of us. We must let go judgments that we have sitting there. Okay, Karen Lee for herself. I would appreciate a treatment for myself for physical pain in my right side. Thank you. Sorry, I'm smiling because my arm has been very bad the last few days. I'm finally finding out what exactly is going on with it. Yeah, so physical pain is, it's not my favorite thing. Okay. 17 is about balance and is about where we put our attention. 21 is about balance. And 8 is also about balance in a different way. So there's everything, all of these three numbers have a balance in them. I'm just thinking more of a, like, knowing that I've dealt a lot with pain in the last while, is that I think there has to be an acknowledgement of it, because until we acknowledge it, it's not going to disappear. I think that in knowing that our energy still goes out more into the love force, into doing what we love to do, rather than just concentrating on the pain, is important. But what I see here is that I know, because I know that you're putting out a lot in other places as well for people. What I see here is that you're overdoing it. 17 is very, very clear about the balance, is that we put a little out in relation to what we have for ourselves. So number one is I think it's in Spanish, like uno. Oh, I don't know it, so don't forget that part. Having attention on number one is paramount. When you need to rest, you need to rest. When you want to go forth and do some exercise, you go forth and do exercise. It's about being in balance with yourself physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And mostly it's about not giving it all away to everybody and everything. It's about making sure you're looking after you. because when you're looking after you, everything is in balance. That's exactly what we want. And then we have the energy to deal with the physical world of those command, what do you call it? Tension grabbers that need things that need to be done in the physical world that have to do with other people. I feel within myself, even as I'm saying this, is that I'm not taking a breath. All of a sudden I was like, oh, I have to take a breath. And I think that's what's happening is that you're not taking time for you to catch your breath, to let go. I look at your physically, I'm looking at stress where you've maybe done something physical. You've pulled a muscle and it's sort of aggravated other things. But I think on the bigger picture, it's about putting yourself first. If you're not well, other people are going to also suffer from that. Other people are not going to get what they need. But they can wait sometimes for a little longer so that you can take care of yourself, so that you can take care of the essence of who you are. So let me go into treatment and see if anything else is added. I'm just going to have a sip of water first, just a sec. I know that there is one power and one essence. And I know that Karen Lee is connected to that power. And in that power, there is a redemption of where we're at and what we do in relation to where we're heading in our lives. I know that you have a lot on your plate right now. And I know that in that plate, when I look at it, you've got things divided into different categories that need time and attention. But I do not see the words me in there. And me is in the middle of it all. Me shows up everywhere. So if we had a plate with different things on it, me has to be in the center. Because if me is not in the center, but on the rim or shoved off to one side, then everything will collapse. Because me runs out of energy, runs out of resources, runs out of inspiration, all of those things. So it is very important that the me begins to look after me. And in the looking after of me, it is easy to distribute what is needed to each of section on that plate that I'm seeing here. And the thing is, each section can take a little bit less than what you're already giving. You don't have to give yourself out. I think you've strained something in that side. And I can understand that, but I think you need to become aware of what is doable and what isn't. And if it's not doable, you ask for someone else to come and help, or you do something. You look after you, because that's the important whole thing about this balancing act that's going on, is that you are in command of how much resources you have for you. I give thanks in knowing that the love source is there. I give thanks in knowing that you are aware of how much you can give, but I don't see you at this moment putting brakes on. So I'm going to say, I'm aware that you know what you need to give and how much you can give. There's a difference. Someone may want 100% in this moment, but they can only have 15%. Because every person themselves that you deal with, contact with, have elements with, also have their own resources to lift on. You're not there as a slave. You're not there to put everything out and forget about yourself. That is not going to be helpful for you or for them. I give thanks in your awareness. I give thanks in the growth. I give thanks in you looking after you on every level possible. And in that possibility is that I can lift my head up. I can look at the world that I have around me painless, because I know I'm doing what I need to do, but I'm not giving more. I give thanks in the knowing of this, and I give thanks for Karen Lee finding how that works in the middle, how that comes together. And I release this by saying, and so it is. Amen. 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 Okay, so now here I am. Hi, she says, hi, Norma. My numbers are 8, 13, and 16. For just a second, another one. All of a sudden, I've got hot again. I've been dealing with going from hot to cold and goodness knows in between. Okay. Well, what we see here also, again, the 8 being repeated. So here we have 2 people healing, and we've got 8 balancing that out. But with yours is the 13 is the movement forward and having situations come up, which is kind of stopping you in a way. And that's what I feel like I've run into a block. But I don't feel that this is a block that you need to beat yourself up about, because that seems to be a theme tonight. But it's like knowing the balance, knowing the transition that not only you, but those around you are going through, that sometimes corrections happen. And we think, oh no, what's happening? I'm not on the right track. What am I doing? But the reality is it's part of the path. It's part of the correction that happens. Excuse me. 13 is the death symbol, showing you've gone through a battle, but you're not there yet. The worst is behind you, but you're still got a ways to go. And what I see here is that the transitions that you're going through, the transitions that are happening around you, it's kind of like we're in the middle. It's like going up I'm showing these stairs. You know how you go upstairs, you go up, and then you kind of go another up this way, then that way, then the other way. It's like you're working towards the end result, but you're not there. You're not at the top floor yet. So there is this unexpected changes. All of a sudden you're on another kind of stairway, and it's like, oh, I'm having to deal with this now. Oh, I'm having to look at that now. So it's not a smooth journey. It's not a smooth transition. Your strength, your knowingness, your beliefs, your understanding is very, very much there for you to be able to work with wherever you're going and know that you're on a journey. And it is a transitional journey. And in that transitional journey, no matter what happens and what occurs, is that you just accept and you let it go and you keep on the journey. You don't want to stop this journey. This journey is important. It's taking you where you need to be. And so I give thanks in the knowing of that. I give thanks in knowing that you are intuitive enough, aware enough that you can take the changes that are happening because you're all in the same transitional process of moving forward into the final, you might say, of where things will shift again. But right now, it's a matter of being aware of the shifting and just letting go and trusting yourself, trusting the knowingness you're going to get to where you need to go with ease and with grace. And I give thanks for that as we release this by saying, and so it is. Amen. Kayla says, thank you for your insightful treatment and reminders about the journey. See only light and love in that area of my body. I affirm that I am totally healed. Wonderful. Okay, my glasses. I might have to get new glasses by the looks of this. Sorry. IKA, right? IKA, yeah. So we've got 3, 7, and 14. I wanted to ask if you see me landing a job in this company called D-Shore. I'm currently in their hiring process. Well, it looks very well with the numbers that you gave me, 3 being the love number. We're having lots of that tonight. 7 is leaving the past behind and moving forward, and 14 is bringing it all into balance. I would be surprised if you didn't continue on. And if you didn't, for some reason, it's just part of the whole process that you're going through finding a job. But it feels very successful because it's based on you being grounded. It's based on you being knowing the love source. It's also based on knowing you're leaving the past behind as you move forward. And you have the ability of knowing that this is a new beginning in many ways. So there is this whole element of what you say is, it's kind of exciting, but it's like a knowingness that this is the avenue that you're taking, and this is the avenue that you are doing. So the treatment would go like this. I know that there is one power, and I know that when I speak my word for Ashika, that the lovingness inside her recognizes the transition that is going on, that she's leaving behind that which is known into a new awareness that is the beginning of a new journey. And in that beginning of a new journey, it seems to extend long. So it's right where you want to be. I give thanks in knowing that Ashika is changing, transitioning, and that she has the love source with her to remind her that she is worthy and she can create and work with everything that comes up. I give thanks as she moves forward with ease and with grace by saying, and so it is. Good. And enjoy. That looks good. Karen Lee says, thank you. I will be relieved for Mom whenever finally moves forward on her journey. She deserves to feel the love. Yes, for sure. Well, it's us that stop it and block it, It's we just when we don't believe, when we don't trust. It's all about trust, trusting that the energy is there. Karen says, thank you. And I see this for you as well. Bless you. Thank you. Lynn says, thanks for the great wisdom. Karen Lee says again, you are, and I can't read that with my glasses and the color, 100%. Okay, you are 100% correct. Thank you. And Marie says, thanks, Norma, for encouraging to hear your words and your prayers. I feel the transition. Great. Well, that brings us to the end of the people that have come in and I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank you for those that make comments, because the comments help me in many ways, but also too in the recognition that even though we have someone on, the words that we say for person A also applies to many others. We're all similar. We all have our own paths, yes, but there are similar philosophies that go for. And Ashika says, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you, because without you, I wouldn't be here tonight sitting doing these. And I thoroughly enjoy doing these evenings. So I want to thank you. And just let you know, on Wednesday, I was writing some things out here. Oh, got it on that page, I think. It's around guides and pendulums, because somebody asked about guides and another person asked about pendulums. So I'm putting them together. So I'm going to talk about that. And I'm going to show you in particular how you can use pendulums for many different things, not just, is this yes or a no? It's still a yes or no, but it's how you can broaden the whole scene. And I wouldn't know where I'd be without I have pendulums all over the place because I use them quite a lot for things, but especially for my work, my transformational work in particular. I wish you well tonight. Tonight is a matter of really accepting the love inside yourself. Just take a moment, imagine the wonderful rays of love and bring them in and let them go into parts of your body that feel tension or uncertainty, especially into the brain, because the mind very often, as I have seen lately with clients, just doesn't want to embrace that something could be good and something could be wonderful. And, it's like we get so much in a habit of having things not be right. So it's really important to ensure that we are. I give thanks to each one of you, and I look forward to being here next Monday when we do again mental mind treatments. Blessings to you all.